Hi, my name is Drew, N1ER or N1er for you ham types. You know, I'm a lot like you. I have things in life that I love doing, and I've discovered that if you find a way to make those things intersect, life is even more awesome. You may think that hogs and ham radio can't go together. Well, I'm here to change your mind. There are other things that I enjoy doing as well. For instance, I love watching my kids play sports, play in band, and live life. I love working in ministries and with underprivileged groups. And you know what? I love Georgia Tech, the Atlanta Braves, and yes, the X-Files. I'm here to answer all sorts of questions and show you how your passions can intersect. We'll talk hogs and hams, but also drink some bourbon and play some D&D, so join me on this episode of Hogs and Hams. Hi, N1er Drew here again. We're taking a look at the HamExamGen software that Brandin Hess with the AARG, the Aurora Amateur Radio Group, has come out for VEs and VECs to use to administer amateur radio licenses around the world. So this is the second part of a three-part series, and in the second part, we're actually going to be looking at what does a VE see. So you've got your VE team set up, like you've got your people signed up, they're good to go, they're registered, you have a session that's going to be up and coming this evening. But what do you as the VE team, what do you as a lead VE, what do you see from your side of the software? And so Brandin is going to be walking us through that. He's going to be answering more questions about the software, but it's just going to be taking another look at HamExamGen, which is available or is going to be available, depending on when you watch this video, for the public. So without further ado, Brandin, take it away. Hi, here again with Brandin from the Aurora Amateur Radio Group, and we're talking about HamExamGen, a very cool, slick software that Brandin is showing off to us today. And now we're going to look at the VE side of things, and I'll kick it over to you, Brandin.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So I'm going to show everybody what happens on the VE side of things, and kind of show what, as a volunteer examiner, you would be looking at. Now, obviously, we don't have a session in progress, but I'm going to, for lack of a better word, show everything that you would see prior to an exam session starting. So we're going to do a screen share here. I'm going to do that. We are back on the HamExamGen homepage. So to log into the platform, basically, you're going to go to HamExamGen.com. You're going to simply click on VE Portal. Mm-hmm. When you click on VE Portal, it'll load a very nice, clean, simplistic volunteer examiner login page. And let's say you don't want to log in and you want to go back to the home page for the platform. You just click on home page and it'll take you back. So in the login page here, it's pretty simple. So what you'll do is you'll first select the club that you're affiliated with, and then of course in parentheses it'll have the VEC that you're affiliated with. So I've got two ARRL VE teams in here right now, which would be the Aurora Amateur Radio Group and the North State Amateur Radio Association. So if you click on AARG, which is what I'm going to log in as, my credentials are already pre-populated here. So one thing people are going to be curious about, how are my credentials generated? Well, the credentials for each VE, the password for each VE is randomly generated, and ultimately that information is converted into a 256-bit encrypted database that can only be decrypted by myself or my co-developer. So if somebody were to quote-unquote hack the system, if you will, and try to snatch the database, all they're going to get are funny-looking characters for each password, and they won't be able to decrypt that password even if they try. They need to have one of our keys to do it. So that's something for those of you who are curious about security. Once we upload the user credentials for new users into the platform, it automatically gets encrypted and is added into a database that is growing like yeast, as we should say. So I'm going to go ahead and log into the VE portal. So right now, the first thing you're going to see is it'll take you to adn.php, which is the VE or the Volunteer Examiner Admin panel. Now, typically, if there's a session in progress, you're going to see a bunch of tables down below here. And what we're going to do is over the coming weeks, we are looking at possibly releasing some documentation on that, or some rough documentation for people to have an idea of how it works. But in the VE admin panel or the VE portal here, I've got several links here. Being an administrator, I've got just about every link that would be available to an administrator. Now, so if you have the ability to manage examinees who are incoming, I'm going to show the examinee management panel. So the way the examinee management panel works, it's very simple. We've got everything in table format. I've got a couple of people who are pending sessions. So this is kind of cool that I get to show how all this works. So in the examinee management panel, if the way we have it set up, we have three sections here. So if you've got somebody that's registered to take a test as soon as possible, they'll see that in the examinee registration link when you click on it on the public side. They can select to take the next available exam, which will come up as showing ASAP. And then from there, you can click to basically put them in any exam session that you've got currently scheduled. Now, if they did not select ASAP, and they have selected an actual date, it'll have their name, their call sign, it'll have their desired date, and then over here I can select whatever session I want. And once I've confirmed that they have paid, which is how we do it, I have to confirm that they have paid first. So once I've confirmed that they have paid, I just select the session and I click on Assign Session. Now, what's really cool is I'm going to scroll down here. So I've got paid and confirmed applicants. So I'm going to scroll all the way down here because we've got applicants all the way out to the end of July. So let's say one of these applicants has come to us and said, hey, I want to reschedule my exam. All I got to do is click the drop-down menu. Let's say I want to schedule this person for the 26th of July. I'll reschedule for the 26th of July. I hit Assign Session, and then I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the page, and would you look at that? Our applicant has been rescheduled to the 26th of July. And then if they phone you up and decide that they want to inconvenience you one more time and say, oh, I had a change of heart, I want to go back to the 28th of July, I just simply go back, hit the 28th, click Reassign Session, and then I scroll back down to the bottom of the page, and would you look at that, they're back on the 28th of July. It's pretty simple. Now, the one thing that people are curious about, well, what happens if an applicant gives us an incorrect address or the address doesn't look right? Well, let's pick a random applicant here. Sure, this guy's testing on Thursday. We'll do this so this is the applicant verification page, and provided you've got the privileges by your club admin or your VEC chair to be able to process and modify applicants. So this is what you would see that comes off the 605 form that they filled out from the public-facing side. So you're looking at what they submitted to you and is now currently sitting in the database. So you've got all their contact information correct or on their screen. Let's say let's say something was wrong and they needed to have something update that or updated in their address or updated in their application. I will actually fix something in this address anyways because it looks kind of weird when it comes out on paper. I'm going to fix that in the address. So here's what happens. So I'm going to click on Edit Applicant. And when I click on Edit Applicant, it's basically brought up the entire application. And I need to pull this guy's call sign again real quick, just so I've got it. So bear with me one moment. I'm going to do an amateur radio license search. We're going to go by FRN and do a quick search by FRN. I think my internet's actually cooperating well with me here today.
It's looking great, Brandon.
It really is. And if the FCC will do their job, thank you so much, KK7CKR. Kilo Kilo 7, Charlie Kilo Romeo. That's one thing you guys got to be aware of. If they have a call sign, it'll pull it off the page, and I don't know why it is, but that's something we're going to look at fixing. So what I wanted to fix was the address. So I'm going to fix the T and the E, and I'm going to fix it and make it lowercase. Everything else is fine. Their email is good. Phone number is fine. He had an N on the basic qualification question, and he wanted to upgrade license and also change call sign, which I don't have in here, but that's okay. We'll fix that here in just a few minutes. So when you've updated everything here, you make sure just scroll through here and make sure it all looks good. If it all looks good, guess what? Scroll back down, hit update. and look at that. So I've got the first name, middle initial, last name. Everything looks good here. City, state, and zip code. He is testing for general. That's the other thing too. So if it'll show you their current class of license. It'll show you what elements they're planning to take. So let's say this guy wanted to upgrade from tech to extra. It would show a G followed by a pipe and an E. So if they've got more than one element in the plan elements, it'll show all the elements that they're planning to take. And then, of course, their electronic signature is in the application. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to, let's see here. I'm going to go to session management here. So that's kind of the examining management panel. It's pretty intuitive, very simple. So let's say I wanted to create a brand new session. Well, this is the part or the place where you'll want to do it. It's one of the few places where you can do it. So let's say I wanted to create a session for August 1st, 2022. I would do a year, 2022, followed by the date or the month, followed by the day. So August 1st, 2022, and let's say I was feeling real froggy and I wanted to do it at 4:30 in the morning Pacific time because I don't sleep for a living and I like to be up early in the morning. So I'm going to put 4:30 in the morning Pacific time. And let's say I'm going to put my session ID. So your session ID is basic. So what we tell people for session ID, it's always the first letter of the VEC code, in which case the ARRL's VEC code is D as in Delta. And then we do 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day. And since we use internally the letter X as an X-ray for remote testing, I use X as an X-ray, and then the session number, which would be the first session for that particular day. And let's say I wanted to have a session limit of 1 person. I only wanted to give an exam to 1 person at 4:30 in the morning while I'm having my coffee on the 1st of August. So I set my number, and I hit create session. Now people are asking, well, where did the session go? Well, first off, you got the session here. It shows it's been added, right? So I'm going to scroll down and find that session. Oh, wait, it's not going to be in the pending sessions table. You're going to want to find it under extended session management. You'll click on pending sessions. And what's really cool, the way we have this set up, it's broken down by the month. So let's say I wanted to find my 1 session in August. I hit the drop-down menu. I select August. I select the year of 2022. I click apply filter, wait for it. Would you look at that? I've got my session that I created on the 1st of August. It has the session ID, the hash for that particular session. I have 1 applicant. That's my limit because I got to have my coffee that early in the morning and I don't want to be bothered. Just kidding. It's all good. But if I want to fix that, let's say I wanted to change it to 2 sessions or change it to 2. I'm going to talk about this here in just a minute, what all this means. Let's say I wanted to change it to 2. Okay, fine. I'm going to hit 2, and I'm going to click Update Session. Now, before I do that, people are asking, well, what's a session description? Let me take a swig of water here. Session description is information that you would have seen on the public-facing side, all that text that you would have seen on the public-facing side, the technical text. We have a way, so the way our platform is set up, you don't have to put text in for every single session. We have a setup to where you can put standard text in, and it will display for every session that you create. And that is available either in the VEC admin page or the club admin page, and I'll show you that here in just a moment. So let's say I wanted to update my 4:30 in the morning session to 2 people. I'll just click Update Session. And when I click Update Session, the mics are going to turn. And it says, my session has been updated, return to session management. So I click on session management, and just for all intents and purposes, I'm going to click on pending sessions. I'm going to go to August of this year, and I'm going to click apply filter. And look at that. We have 0 of 2 signed up. So that's kind of how it works. That's how you can modify and manipulate session data. It's a pretty slick system, a pretty slick way of doing things. So if I want to see what I've got for the rest of the month of January of sessions that are pending, I go back to session management, and so I scroll down to our pending sessions. I've got pending sessions all the way through the end of the month, and the way we enable sessions is if I want to enable a session, let's say, for example, I want to enable my session for tomorrow, the 17th of January, all I got to do is click Enable Session. And when I click on Enable Session, it'll open up a new tab saying the session has been enabled. Please close the tab, it would be something on a tab like that. You would close the tab, and then you'd go to the admin panel. And, of course, this whole page will be populated with a bunch of tables, and it'll show you the applicants that have already registered for that particular session. Now, if let's say, for example, you are wanting a way to keep your sessions organized. We have features built into this platform that allow for us to be organized. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, so what we do, what the Aurora Amateur Radio Group does is we build what's called a session docket. And a session docket is essentially a highfalutin piece of paper that tells us which VEs are going into which breakout room, so it gives us the ability to be organized, and then which examinees are going into which room at what time. So how do we do that? So we click on Session Management, and I scroll down here, and I click on, let's say I click on the 17th. We have 5 people signed up. It's a full session. I have all the email addresses for, so when we upload everybody's information into the system, we have the email address for each VE, so we can actually not only send them the docket, but when we click on Email VE Team, it opens up your default email client, and it pre-populates all the VEs emails who are in this list of all that are participating, so you can email them and tell them what's about to happen for this particular session. If you don't have to dig up emails or copy and paste emails. It literally, you click on this, and I'll actually do it for all intents and purposes, just so you can see how this works. I just clicked on Email VE Team, and my email client, hopefully this is loaded. Mm-hmm. Do you actually see my email client loaded?
I do see it. It looks great.
Yep, so that is exactly what happened. So I'm going to close that out because I'm not in the mood to email all my VEs yet. And so how this works, so this is where we would prepare our session docket. And it looks kind of convoluted, but at the end of the day, we have it broken down into something pretty simple. So we have up to 6 breakout rooms at the moment for on our platform. We have plenty of room for more. If a VE team wants more, all they got to do is let us know. But this is an optional feature that you guys have, although it comes with everybody to help you guys be more organized. You type in the lead VE, their first and last name hyphen their call sign, and then to separate between VEs, all you got to do is put a pipe in there. So let's say John Doe WL7AA was the lead VE. I would hit a pipe, and I would say Jane Doe AL7AA is an alternate VE. I would hit a pipe, and then I would bang out the rest of my VEs for that particular exam room. Once you've done all the rooms that you feel you need, then from there, if you scroll down, it has all the applicants who are testing. It has the elements that they're testing for, and then the way you got to do it is you simply type in their FRN, the time, and right now we have it set up to Eastern time. You can use whatever time zone you want, but this is just something to keep in the back of your mind. You put their FRN, a pipe, time that they're coming to test with you, a pipe again, and then the room or the room number that you plan on putting them in. Once you've done all of that, you click on Prepare Docket, and it prepares a document where it'll say Download Docket right below Email VE Team. It generates a PDF document that you can email all your VEs, and it's just a way of staying organized, for lack of a better word. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about too, so I'm going to get off of here for a moment. One of the other features that I'm really happy that we have in our platform is our VE availability or our VE scheduler. A lot of VE teams are very large. A lot of VE teams have a hard time managing their teams because they just have so many and they can't keep up with everybody. So one of the things that we have on our platform that a lot of others do not have currently is the ability for us to track what sessions you can be available for. So right now we have all of our sessions clear through the end of July. I have on this one page, and if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, hey, look at that. There's my 4:30 in the morning Pacific time. If anybody bites on that, I am going to laugh hysterically for the next 2 weeks. You mark my words. But anyways, the way it works is you select all the sessions you're available for by clicking the checkbox. And once you've updated and once you've selected all the sessions that you're available for, you click Submit Availability, and when you click Submit Availability, it'll give you confirmation that your availability has been submitted. And then all we got to do is to see who's available for a session is I click on Session Management. I scroll down, and let's go back to Monday session. I have a list of all the VEs who say they're available. Every time you submit your availability for a session, you'll populate in whatever session you've actually said that you're available for. That's how the VE availability feature works, and it's very slick. It's very seamless. Now, if you need to go back and change your schedule of availability, when you click on VE availability again, it'll have all the check boxes pre-marked. So let's say I'm not available for the 22nd of February, and I'm not available for the 3rd of July. All I got to do is uncheck those boxes. I scroll down to the bottom of the screen, and I click on Submit Availability, and guess what? I'll have a confirmation that says your availability has been updated. You can close the window. I close the window, and I scroll back up just for all intents and purposes so you can kind of see here. And you can see that March 3rd and February 22nd have been selected as me not being available for. That's how it all works. So with that being said, I want to talk about, I don't have the club admin panel on here. That's a feature that'll be coming next weekend. And for those of you who are ultimately interested in joining the platform, we can give you more information on it. So if you're a VEC administrator, now I'm showing as a VEC administrator for the ARRL on here. This is technically for the VEC chairperson. This is a page where we have a couple of features on here. So let's say we're onboarding a new club. We can put in their club abbreviation. It already shows that they're under the auspices of the ARRL VEC. We would put the call sign of the club chair or the club administrator, and then we would put the club chair's email in there. And then conversely, if a person has some plain text that they want included with the description for all their sessions, we can put that plain text in the box. We click Add Update Club, and poof, all their information is already ready. It's already set and ready to go. Now, also, if we have a session that was recently closed and the lead VE contacts the chairperson and says, "Hey, we got a problem. I can't get into my session. I need it reopened because somebody closed it prematurely, and somebody needs to get their documents from that session." We can, by grabbing that hash that you saw, not the session ID, but the hash, all those numbers and letters. If you copy and paste that into the session ID, you can click Re-enable Session, and it'll literally restart that session. So it's a pretty slick feature. It works great, and it's something that the VEC chairperson will need if something happens to that particular session. So with that being said, I can't think of anything else at the moment to show for the VE admin panel. The one thing that I would say is the way this particular page works. It works in order. So you've got several tables on one page. You've got the examinees pending processing at the top. Down below is another table that'll show exams in progress. Down below that, if they failed or their exam has been voided, which our platform is capable of doing, it'll show exams that have been failed or voided. And then down below, it'll show another table of actually before the voided exam table, it'll show exams waiting to be graded. Then the voided exam table, followed by CSCE's pending signatures. And the way the signatures work on our platform, there is no scribbling. You don't scribble your signature. You don't upload your signature. The way your signature appears is how it appears in the FCC's ULS database. So when we onboard new VEs to our platform, we pull your name as it shows up on your license from the ULS. That is your FCC signature according to how they determine electronic signatures should be given or administered to CSCEs, which makes this platform so much nicer. We don't have to store your scribbled signature. It makes it a lot safer for those who are curious about possible information being hacked or anything like that. It's everything that's involved with this platform comes from what is available in the FCC's ULS database. So that is my rundown of the VE side of things. And with that being said, I think we can take a break and we'll go into the other details on how to get onboarded and some information about the off-grid side of our platform.
Absolutely, Brandon, and I appreciate that. It really is a slick software, and I've already written a note to myself to go sign up for that 4:30 a.m. session. So hope you got a VE team. I need my extra. So
yes, you do.
All right, yeah. Let's take a quick break, Brandon, and then we'll come back and let you walk us through the final part on how we can look at onboarding people and clubs that are interested in getting signed up for this.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon, as always, for doing the interview and for explaining more about HamExamGen. I really think this is going to be something that people are going to love to use and is really a useful tool. So what is the to-go nugget off of this HamExamGen thing? So the one thing that I kind of want to point out to people is be creative, right? So Brandon started out with an issue. Being in Alaska, he needed something. He needed a software. He needed a way to reach people that couldn't be reached with a typical piece of paper or, using the software that's already out there, to administer these ham radio tests. But through his creativity, through his perseverance, basically through his just sheer willpower and those of his, his friend who helped create this platform, that's the way that we have HamExamGen. So let's say that you find yourself, with a problem. Let's say that you look around, you can't find something that's going to help you solve this problem. Use your creativity, use your God-given talents to go out there and create something new. And I mean, that's just the encouragement that I want to give to you is, it's the crossroads between struggle and then also perseverance and self-creativity to overcome a problem. It sucks when you quit and you give up on something because it's too hard. I would just encourage you to, push through those trials in life. Find a new way, just persevere, be tenacious, and whatever it is that you're trying to overcome in your life. And I have full 100%, faith that you'll be able to overcome those things. This is N1er. This is Drew. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Hogs and Hams. Have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is for you. Bye-bye.